Welcome to Meadowhare Cottage. Today's project is a special fairy-themed birthday card for my small granddaughter who loves fairies. The sentiment is make a wish, and there it is. So I have used lots of images of fairies, butterflies and toadstools, with the main image being a beautiful large dandelion with dandelion fairies dancing around it. The card is a Trifold Aperture design so that various different fairy scenes can be seen through the window, depending on how she opens her card. The fairies and the dandelion, with its associated wishes, were the main inspiration, and I added red and white toadstool clusters and frilly butterflies and vine backgrounds to add to the forest glade effect. There are also 2 inset fairy scenes to add to the fun. And there's one with fairies dancing on the bluebells, and there's the other on the back with the fairy dancing amongst the toadstools and the grass, casting stars into the sky. The Trifold card is made with 2 7x7 card blanks sandwiched together, and the aperture is backed with acetate for strength. Depending on how the card is folded, a different fairy scene appears through the window, or she can fully open her card for a fairy panorama. And she could see it like that, or she could have it open. White inked colours add the definition to the different elements and layered some of the toadstool caps to give a 3D effect. I had some small butterfly and flower jewel elements in my stash, so I've added these onto the card too. I've been making several Aperture cards lately, and I'm gradually learning the best way to make them. So for this fairy card, I coloured a reverse die cut of the front fairy frame image and added this to the back of the Aperture. As you can see. This is to somewhat hide the tape used to secure the acetate. By using a vine stencil in the background beneath the die cut, it distracts a little from the tape. I coloured the inside of the card a pretty blush pink, having stamped the beautiful large dandelion and fairies on white card and colouring with a fine water pen and ink around the images. I had 2 fairy scene dies, so coloured the circular die, this one here, layering it onto gold background, and used that on the page next to the dandelion fairies. If the card is stood open, this can also be seen through the aperture. See that? A bit of a struggle. Just about see that. There. And it's quite a magical impression. There's a fairy scene die on the back of the card. I've layered it into its own square aperture, layering it onto a sky blue sparkly paper for effect. The fairy in the scene can be seen dancing among the grass and toadstools and casting the silvery white stars into the sky. Just yet another fairy carrying a pretty dandelion, ready for my granddaughter to blow upon and make her birthday wish. The whole card, as you can see, is festooned with colourful, glittery butterflies. I used a variety of dyes, stamps, inks, metallic, gilding polishes, glosses, glitters and stencils. And here's a snapshot of the dyes and inks and metallic gilding polishes I used, creating and colouring all the elements, then assembling them into the finished card. I always have a general idea of the theme for my cards, but the final outcome is a combination of the different elements and how they work together. I was pleased with the finished card, and I love the aperture window, which reveals magical scenes. I'm sure my granddaughter will love her birthday card. One more look at the finished card. And there we are. We open it up. Make a wish, fairy. The dandelion stamp with lots of little dandelion fairies dancing around it. The inset panel with the fairies dancing on the bluebells. And the background panel with the fairy casting the stars into the sky. I hope you will agree, a very special card and for a special little girl. I hope you enjoyed this video and will join me again for another Meadow Hare crafting project story. Goodbye.